It's fair to say he knows the track, though.
It certainly does. John Holden there, sorry, and Flank Cleese. 22nd podium in the TT here for Holden last time out, and now Steve and Matty Ramsden, 4th in the first race in 2023. So Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley then first out on the road, and just like Monday, next out on the road to follow them, Ryan and Callum Crowe, and they'll be meeting a certain Steve Plater over at Crosby in a moment. Down to you, Steve.
Here we go, I'm looking forward to this. I can see the helicopters up in the air, so there must be some sidecars coming. I'm not sure who's first on the road, but just keep your eye on the top there, look. Any second there, oh! That's lovely and smooth. Interesting there, because all the solos always stay to my left, and it's that's because that side of the road is actually lower, but the sidecars seem to be going over the high side. Now, obviously, sidecars track the roads everywhere, but when they come over the top there, they're looking pretty stable so far. I believe Birchall's are coming now. There you go. Look at that. I said the other day, they're looking so much better now, the Birchall's, for some reason. Perfect. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tim Reeves. I'm going to be next over past you as well.
Yeah, I reckon the sidecars go over the left-hand side of the road specifically because that means the big bit of the road, it's actually the driver that goes over it, instead of having the sidecar wheel ticked up by the big crown in the road if they were on the other side.
They all look pretty good over it, though.
Yeah, but they're not going as quick. These are 600cc machines. They're producing about 135 brake horsepower, but they're going near enough with a full tank, 400 kilos. So they're a little bit slower, so you wouldn't expect that. I mean, no less brave though. These drivers.
Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney, the British Championship runners-up, 114.1 here the other night. Monday, and shortly of course we'll get the first of them through. You could see from when we jumped down to Steve that the Crows had already made up a bit of time on Founds and Walmsley, so are we going to see him getting up close and personal on this first flying lap again?
I reckon. So this is Ben Birchall,
yeah.
Kevin Rousseau. That's round at Ballasper. We saw Ballacrane, then Ballasper. This is Ballig Bridge, and then into Doran's Bend. This is the run through the big glen in the middle of the island that cuts through the island and up towards Glen Helen. You always call this a Glen Helen section. Tree line, dark, strobing from the sun. One corner leads directly into another. This is Laurel Bank, the Laurel Bank section, but it's all known as the Glen Helen section because the old glen is Glen Helen. And yeah, just a very demanding piece of track. I always found it so anyway.
You know, there's not going to be a big issue with the sun, it seems, this evening. They're just not going to have that strobing effect, you know, through all the main places, so it's going to be a little bit easier on the drivers.
First to Glen Helen, Ryan and Callum Crowe, as we suspected, a couple of seconds quicker than Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley. We'll get Birchall and Rousseau through shortly as well. So, as it was on Monday, yeah, Ben and Kevin have gone through 4:50.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, that was a real lighting up, and that's one of the jobs of the passengers to keep a little bit of weight on the back of that, so when the driver's accelerating, it keeps a bit of weight down, stops it spinning. But that was more
the water,
moisture the moisture that caused that. Problem is,
here we go.
Watch this, it'll snap sideways.
No. Closing my eyes.
So he's accelerating. Ben is accelerating. Slides. The problem is not when it slides; it's when it grips again. Watch. Boom.
That's pretty.
And that can flick it the other way, and then you're in trouble.
So there's a couple, there's a couple guys still just getting off the track from the Twins. I just wanted to report that Jamie Coward ended up the very quickest in Super Twins on the day at 119.25, followed by, what was it? I'm sorry.
It's Hickman second.
Yeah,
That's
Hickman,
at the moment, but
Hickman.
we've still got Dunlop to come over the line in Super Twins. So
Yeah, can you believe they are by far the two biggest blokes in the class?
So we'll wait and see what Michael Dunlop could do. But yeah, you're right for pointing that out, Mark. Jamie Coward at 119.2 on his Super Twin. As we track the sidecars then to Glen Helen, the Crowe brothers were fastest from Founds and Walmsley, with Birchall and Rousseau 2.7 adrift of Founds and Walmsley. It was Crawford and Hardy, 4th quickest, with Reeves and Wilkes 5th. Had a good chat to a number of sidecar teams earlier on about the new tyres that they've got here at the TT, of course. The switch to Hoosier tyres from Avon. The vast majority saying that sidecars feel like they're sliding around a little more around the island. The profile of them a bit softer on the sidewall.
They say they're a little bit softer in terms of construction. That means if you steer aggressively, the sidecar wheel can dig in and kind of deform and not so much slide, but kind of walk across the road. It's a really sort of unstable feeling.
In general, though, Tim Reeves really happy because they've made a switch from Yamaha to Honda for this year. And as I said, the fastest ever first day for Tim Reeves yesterday, which bodes quite well. So
Tim Reeves just have a trouble-free TT would be unusual at the minute.
It's not really been. It would be. I think if Tim can get close to the top 3, there'll be a bit of a fire burning in his belly, which we've not seen for some time.
Now we're about 11.5 miles in. That's the bottom of Bagara. Clouds are coming in.
We'll be lucky enough to hear some of the reports from the helicopter pilots a bit later on, who are staying in our hotel down in Douglas. Number 15 is Wayne Lockie and Matt Rostron on, I love their team name, the Dirty Weekender Camper Vans Honda LCR. Pete Founds and Jevon Walmsley through to Balaf. And the Crows again. Not a lot of difference there. From Glen Helen to Balaf, that's marginal. Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, who are newcomers, the world and British champions. 109 on their first outing a couple of days ago. Wait now for Birchall and Rousseau to hit Balaf shortly and see how they fare. They're 3rd quickest through Balaf. So they're 11 seconds adrift of Ryan and Callum Crowe.
Boy, that looks like Conrad Harrison. Yes, it is. Similar paint job every year for Conrad. Drives a truck for the post office. Not this quick though, in the truck. He's pretty quick with it.
I was going to say, I haven't seen Royal Mail planted on the side of the sidecar there. Reeves and Wilkes have just gone through from Glen Helen to Balaf as well. 4th quickest for them, but they've lost quite a chunky bit of time there. Reeves and Wilkes through to Balaf. So
the Crow brothers continue to kind of set the mark in this class. They've left off they've continued where they left off.
They do, and I would imagine that by the time we get to our next sector as well, Mark, where it would be around Ramsey, I don't think that the Crows are going to be too far on the road from Founds and Walmsley. Now, we saw that bit of needle, whatever you want to call it, from Monday night, and we might be in for a little bit more again, because they cannot be too far away from each other out on the road here, on the island, qualifying here on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I reckon the Crow boys on the long straights are going to be able to see Peter Founds and Jevon Walmsley even as we speak.
Well, there you see the speed trap through Selby. It's 157 for the Crows, 148 for Founds and Walmsley.
That's a massive difference.
That's a huge difference.
Massive difference.
Absolutely colossal difference in top speed there.
Oh, here we go for the rematch.
Here we go. Founds and Walmsley versus the Crows. Does it continue? There was shakes of head on Monday night.
Tag team actually does it.
Yeah, a lot more difficult to pass with these sidecar outfits. Obviously, they're a lot wider. They've got to be a bit more careful. However, with that much straight line speed that is disposable.
How much do you think it helps, genuinely interested, being Manxman and knowing these roads inside out?
I think
how much of an advantage in the first? What I mean is by that, they're obviously not out there on the sidecar on the road, but on the opening day or two, would it make any difference?
I think unless you're going at speed, it's not going to be that big of a help. You know, even somebody that doesn't know the island at all, if they've only ever seen it at speed, it might even be an advantage.
Well, I think if you're learning the circuit and you learn the Isle of Man, or learning the course and you live in the Isle of Man, well, you're going to be able to do more laps and it's going to help at that point. But I think once you know the course, probably not much of an advantage.
I also think that sometimes I remember the first time I ever went out and actually did it in a car or motorcycle is something I did not like the experience of going slow around there because you see so much little things that make you nervous.
Yeah.
Well, there's a crack there and there's crack filler there. I would almost rather just keep it at speed. Here we go.
Now, what I will say, if there was that big a difference in speed between the Crows and Peter Founds and Jevon Walmsley on the flat bit at Sulby Strait, it's going to pull up the mountain lots better than I thought that Crow outfit.
We're about to head up towards Stella Maris and the Ramsey hairpin as we now look at Birchall and Rousseau. After it must be about 20 years Ben and Tom were together. The temptation to say the Birchalls over the last few days has been unbelievable.
So bumpy in these things. Very little suspension travel.
7.4 seconds between Callum and Ryan Crowe and Founds and Walmsley, and a further 9.4 adrift there, Birchall and Rousseau. That was nice. Around the Ramsey hairpin there from Ben and Kevin.
So we'll be probably cutting to the mountain. There they go again, putting that wheel over that curve. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's Tim Reeves.
Apparently there's going to be a little photo shoot happening in the coming days here on the islands. There are 10 sidecar world champions that will be present on the islands here in a day or two. Of course, we were joined by one in the commentary box yesterday, Patrick Farrance. Lovely drone shot here at the gooseneck.
Yeah, lovely. This is where the
Is that a drone?
Yeah.
yeah.
Check us out.
This is where the course really opens up. You can see we're going a little bit, and the sort of open air, no trees to sort of.
When we get back to the Crows and
Stretching their legs now out on the mountain.
the Crow brothers are on a pace for 117 mile an hour lap, I'm told.
Yeah, their fastest ever was 118.5.
You see how you can just see there how Callum Crowe, the passenger, keeps his head down, doesn't know where he's going, because to stick his head up even an inch from behind that bodywork would cost time. That Ben Birchall said he can actually tell an inch up of a helmet sticking out the bubble of his passenger, and he can feel the revs dropping.
Oh,
here we
they're
go.
passing them. Amazing.
That's a good place on the mountain mile there.
The Crows go through on Founds and Walmsley then.
At the end as well.
And again, we just saw, that looked like
Differences.
quite a big speed difference.
Massive difference in speed there.
So what can Founds and Walmsley do now that they're locked in behind the Crows? And this is the way they were last time. But it certainly looks like at the start of 2024 that Ryan and Callum Crowe mean business. The Manxman, son of Nick, 5-time winner. They have hit the ground running in sidecars.
Well, if they've all got Honda engines, I wonder really what would be the reason for such a difference in mile an hour. Is there some aero involved, maybe, or
there's everything
weight?
involved with it? Everything. These are all pretty much bespoke outfits in terms of the shape, and there's obviously a power difference there as well. That's a big difference in speed.
Just a question now whether or not Founds and Walmsley can cling on to the Crows. Now, interesting just to note here that on Monday night, the Crows were pretty happy with the balance of their setup. They went through to take on another flying lap, whereas Founds and Walmsley pulled in.
Yeah, they're keeping up with it.
Yeah, I just wonder whether they let them past. Signal from the passenger. They seemed to get across the left to me. So maybe just having a look at your rivals.
Yeah, maybe they're doing something we don't realize, which is they're playing a nice game of chess here.
Yeah. Both on Honda-powered sidecar outfits, so you wouldn't have thought there'd be that much difference in power output.
Immediately there, just getting into the slipstream as now it's Ben Birchall, Kevin Rousseau's French passenger, heading up towards the bungalow now as well. Third quickest through there.
They do seem to have more movement in the outfit behind. They seem to constantly be sliding through the corners more than the Crows.
But they are keeping the hooks
I
in.
don't know.
Yeah, you're right. They're definitely wagging a little bit there.
Really great acceleration there, even though the tail was wagging a bit from Ryan and Callum Crowe. It's Tim Reeves and Wilkes trying to chuck it into the bungalow now. So just a reminder, this was a standing start from pit lane from the sidecar pairing, the 28-year-old Ryan Crowe and his brother Callum.
I can tell you, I spoke to the passenger of the Birchells, Mr. Rousseau?
Yeah, Rousseau.
Earlier today, and I just kind of like, yeah, good luck, and I kind of patted him on the shoulder, and he was as hard as a rock. I mean, he was literally fit as could be. I couldn't believe it. It was like literally like a statue.
I think you need to be strong fella for this, or some lady passengers and drivers.
Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy have gone through fourth quickest at the bungalow. They've chipped themselves ahead of Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes, and Dave Molyneux and Jake Roberts at the moment, the sixth outfit to go through as we continue to track the Crowe brothers and Fownes and Walmsley in the helicopter. Next up for them, of course, would be Cronknamona before they then complete the lap and head along past our grandstand here on Glen Crutchery Road. And since they've gone through, Fownes and Walmsley haven't lost sight of them, so maybe this was part of the plan. Closing up here.
Yeah, they're not shaking them off, are they?
You just wonder, don't you? I mean, it would be fascinating if they both went through to start another lap. It's Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clément, the reigning world and British champions. And we're coming towards the end of this first qualifying lap here on Wednesday then for Crowe and Fownes. It's just worth pointing out, of course, that by nature of them being ahead of them on the road, they are going to set the fastest time. But I'm really fascinated to see whether or not they both go through for another.
There's something going on here, I think, between them.
I'm not sure that Callum Crowe
is gonna.
Ryan and Callum. Ryan's the driver, Callum the passenger. I'm not sure Ryan. He'll know what's going on here, surely. Or will he? Go through to another lap. We're about to find out out of Governor's Dip then and along Glen Crutchery Road. We're going to get some lap times in here in sidecars in qualifying. We'll track those for you. We'll tell you what they are, and then we'll see if they're coming through to do another lap. Over the line. The Crows say no thanks, and Fownes and Walmsley continue.
Could be mentioned that the Crows outfit is actually the last LCR outfit to be built by the Birchall brothers.
That's the fastest lap that Ryan and Callum Crowe have ever done around the island from a standing start. Now remember, it's not official, it's qualifying. Their fastest was race 1 2022, 118.5. They've beaten it. It's 118.814. Can they join the 120 club over the next week here on the island? Fownes and Walmsley, a 117.8 for them. That's a great step for the Crows. Birchall and Rousseau have gone over the line. They've just posted a 116.3. 116.3 for Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau.
If you get a chance to look at the passenger, not even looking where he's going, he has to figure out where he is, because he's got to be accurate when he jumps out of that outfit to actually keep the thing going in a straight line or getting around a corner. They do it from all sorts of gear changes, they listen to revs, they look at the side or the back.
They're happy.
They are, yeah.
They're really happy there, and they've just telling each other the information about their fastest ever lap. And that was from pit lane as well. That's impressive. Again, that won't...
They've got days and days to get that extra time to get over 120. I don't think it's a big stretch at all.
Get in there. He looks like I'm going to grab him there. That big Jeremy smile. Wow, well done. That's cracking.
Well, there you see Chris Kinley there from Radio TT, Max Radio, getting straight in there to have a word with Ryan Crowe. Fantastic effort that. Of course, as we remind you, because it's qualifying, it's not official until they do it in the race, but you can kind of tell they've parked up, they're obviously happy with the setup, they're happy with the feel of the bike, everything going A-OK, and they are the team to beat in the early stages here on the island.
Yep, looking like it.
Pete Fownes and Jevon Walmsley with time to find. Let's see what Tim Reeves is getting on. Let's get down to to Grace. She's got the crows. Down to you, Grace.
Ryan and Callum Crowe, what a phenomenal lap there. We can see what it means to you just coming in. Just some words from you now.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that lap. I told him to come in because I didn't want Pete following us for another lap. I couldn't be doing that. But that's off to him.
Not a bad comeback, that, is it? No, it's... honestly, I can't... The boys that have helped us build this bike, everybody's done a phenomenal job. Everyone. But I said to somebody in the awning before, when you just enjoy riding your bike, it all comes. Like, I honestly thought when I was coming up a return road I was going to get told, you know, another 116, not that time, like, that's bang on. It proves who's your tyres can do it too, doesn't it? So
Definitely. Well done, lads. A brilliant lap.
No, it's phenomenal. Thank you to everyone watching around, of course.
Yeah, very happy brothers indeed, and I'm sure their dad Nick will be proud of that. There's still obviously a lot more to come. An amendment of the Maxton suspension here coming from Tim Reeves after his lap.
Yeah, he's taking preload off the spring. That's what he's doing. Couple of turns, quite a big step that.
Reeves came over the line 112.9, and so he'll want a little bit more than that. Dave Molyneux. Well, apologies for
With the fruity language. Yeah.
But you know, it's tense here.
Yeah, it's their domain.
Yeah, absolutely is.
We're booking into that.
Yeah. Ryan Crowe and Callum Crowe then with their fastest ever lap, 118.8, their fastest Fowles and Walmsley. It's Birchall and Rousseau third. Crawford and Scott Hardy went over the line fourth quickest. Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes fifth. Blackstock and Rosney sixth. Fowles and Gibbons, remember Gibbons is a newcomer, is seventh. First 110 mile an hour plus laps for Jake Roberts with Molly, and Rhys Gibbons with Alan Fowles, who we just mentioned. We should just point out as well, for the new pairing of Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, 110.83. So in their first ever visit to the TT, they're into the 110s already.
Impressive.
Very.
These guys got out of Glen Helen, no problem.
Yeah, nice through the damp at Glen Helen for Peter Fowles and Jevon Walmsley.
Yeah, I'm just going to check and see how that lap fares for them. In Glen Helen, 4:47.722 they were through that last time. It's 4 seconds quicker than we went previously.
Yeah, and that's probably down to, that's about what you lose at the Standing Star, I reckon.
Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau were faster than Fowles and Walmsley through there. 4:44.6 to Glen Helen.
So they're on for a good lap then.
That's 10 seconds quicker than they went on their first lap.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff from Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau. I had a good chat with Ben actually, and I said, you could just see he's loving the challenge. He said, I miss Tom, I really do, because obviously there's so much telepathy. I miss him as a brother, I miss him as my passenger. I am enjoying this challenge, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to win. And I am going to ask some questions of Kevin Rousseau as the week goes on.
I was chatting with Ben myself, and I said, did you have a kind of a signal between you, given you can't see Kevin Rousseau as you're going round? He says, yeah, I told him to squeeze my ankle. I said, what, 2 squeezes for faster and 1 for slower? He said, no, just squeeze if you're frightened. and there was no squeeze came, so...
Just want to say that the lap that Ryan and Callum Crowe posted, that was their fastest 118.8, they went through to Glen Helen, of course from pit lane, 4 minutes and 49.
And what was Ben's?
Ben Birchall, 4:44. So this is a good start for Ben and Kev.
Yes.
Really good start. Flying through the Garrett. Number 5 then heading back out. Dave Molyneux and Jake Roberts, 20-year-old.
And the 60-year-old.
And the 60-year-olds. 40-year age gap. I'm reliably informed that Jake Roberts is the second youngest entrant to the TT for this year.
You have no idea how big, how small actually that little platform is that the passenger sits on. There is no room. You've got to curl yourself up into it's crackers. Honestly, you would not know how you stay on it.
Conrad Harrison we just saw there, and that's Saunders pairing.
Yep, John and James.
Hoping at some point we get a little shot of the Belgian newcomers, number 33, Renzo and Valle van der Donkt, because there's a really nice little story that's attached to them. But we'll keep an eye on Fownes, Walmsley, Birchall and Rousseau for now. Alan Fownes and Rhys Gibbons went through to Glen Helen 5 minutes. Let's see how that... Yeah, they're 4 seconds up, so that's about standard there. Next up for the sidecar pairings on lap 2 would be the run to Ballaugh. Fownes and Walmsley will be the first to Ballaugh, and they've just arrived through that sector. So it now remains to be seen how they fare in comparison to Birchall and Rousseau.
Yeah, this, I think, is the Bishop's Court section.
When we come out of Kate's, and I thought,
Mr. Russell.
if I didn't hang on to that,
Again,
on his
a
face.
few fruity words here and there, but that's not really a massive surprise, given what they're actually doing out there.
They're going through, yeah.
The last of their words.
And again. That's Michael Russell and Vicky Cook there, just exchanging, and they're having a good smile and a laugh over their lap. Through and over Ballaugh Bridge for Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau, and again they're faster than Fownes and Walmsley, but it's a bit tighter this time. They're 2/10 up from Glen Helen to Ballaugh on Birchall and Rousseau. Let's get down to, we just saw Michael Russell in fact, and Rick's standing by to speak to Michael and Vicky.
I'm indeed. Vicky, how was that?
Yeah, it was good. I was glad to get a little bit of confidence back after Monday night, and then obviously having yesterday night off, so nice steady lap just to get us back in the swing of things. Just going to alter the suspension. It's feeling the bumps a little bit more tonight, so yeah, glad to be back out there again.
Already at this stage then, obviously this is just the second day of practice really, of qualifying, and do you know what you need to kind of tweak and what you need to work on?
Yeah, me. No, I'm joking. Yeah, a little bit of me. I didn't have a particularly great night on Monday night, so just needed tonight to resettle again. Thank you to Patrick for all his help over the last couple of days. He's been an absolute megastar to give me the confidence back.
Fantastic. Jack, what's that like?
Three-wheeling around the Isle of Man, it's mental. It is mental. I think, honestly, it's so... The grin factor 25. You know, when you get off the solo, you love it. We did suffer a bit of arm puncture down the big pipe, which is a shame, but honestly, you get on that, and it's like, I just don't want to get off it. Other than like cramps in my leg and a sore back and getting shoved across the sort of side of the platform or side of me, in my cockpit as such. It's such a good feeling. Love it.
Pace was good out there. We've seen from the Crow brothers already, well in excess of 118 miles an hour. That was their fastest ever lap round the TT course. Conditions were good. Conditions
weren't bad, yeah. It's a bit dark actually, to be fair. So no sun, which is nice. A lot of wind, to be fair, over the mountains. So if they're doing 118s, I mean, they're impressive boys at the best of times anyway. So they've got some big shoes to fill with Nick. So yeah, they're going to be up there, and wish everyone a safe, successful TT. Can't wait.
Best luck for the sort of qualifying, and Saturday, big day for you in particular. So good luck. Back to the boys.
Yeah, thanks very much to Rick. Thanks to Michael there, and to Vicky as well. There's number 33. We were just talking about a moment ago. The Belgian pairing, Renzo van der Donkt and Valle van der Donkt. They are newcomers to the TT in sidecars, but Renzo, the driver, no stranger to the course. Believe it or not, in 2012, Manx GP solo newcomer race, second behind James Cowton, can you believe? Really? He was also in 2010 in the top 6 as a solo at the Northwest.
There you go.
And his nephew is in the chair just behind, so he's in a passenger, and he's just 18 and is the youngest competitor here at this year's TT.
Bravo. Where did you get all that?
You just hear a few bits. To be honest with you, I've got to say thanks to both Rick, who we heard from down there. I got half the story from him and some from Patrick Ferrance as well. So, we're lucky we just get to talk the magic and supplied for is Birchall and Rousseau. Then we're tracking. They are to Bath, 3.2 up on Fownes and Walmsley. Just to give you an idea of their time to Bath, they were 13 seconds quicker than their standing start. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying, if the Crows had continued, we would have seen an improved lap from them, but they didn't want to really give Fownes and Walmsley a look at them for an entire flying lap. But this is looking like, according to Phil, somewhere around a 117, maybe even better. Maybe in the 118s, and that would be some start. I've got to say as well, when I was speaking to Tim Reeves earlier on, he said to me in his proper sort of Cockney accent, you just wait. I bet you any money like Ben will still be up there winning races, blah, blah, blah. He's convinced that Ben's still going to do it.
Well, you can see there on the Birchall outfit.
Oh, got a yellow flag there.
Their top speed is not quite as efficient as...
But still sort of bridging the gap between Fownes and Walmsley.
Yeah, that's a reason for the yellow flag. That's an outfit stopped at the side there, left-hand side. If you're going to break down with an outfit, you've got a lot more work to get it off the road and out of people's way. And just hadn't managed to get off the road, but they were in a reasonably safe spot, I reckon. Oh, hang on. Wide there.
Yeah, this is the... What's going on there? Tear off the bed?
Taking the tear off the visor. And he said one of the things about Kevin Rousseau is he keeps his head bobbed up. He's an ex and really good solo rider, and he said he likes to see where he's going. He says he's going to have to get that out of him and get his head down. It will make a difference to top speed.
This is Blackstock and Rosny.
Looks like John Holden might be having a problem in his opening lap with 78 mile per hour average. Must have been touring.
Yeah, I would say so. Former winner, so knows his way around.
Still,
that was the outfit.
We've still got 11:52 to Ramsey for Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau. So even if they did look like they were slightly wide when you were watching them, James, they're still on course here for a tidy lap.
Yeah, that was up at the gooseneck they were wide, which is just after, albeit the Ramsey hairpin.
It's Blackstock and Patrick Rosny, known as Paddy, in the paddock. Just heading through there in third place for now. Number 10 is Alan Fownes and Rhys Gibbons, his 20-year-old newcomer passenger. They are making good strides forward as well. We'll be keeping a very close eye, of course, on the best ever newcomer lap for Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. See whether or not they can get up into the 113s. But it will be really interesting here to see what sort of time can be posted by Birchall and Rousseau. So we came into the TT 2024 on paper, given the change of passenger for Ben Birchall, Fownes and Walmsley did just start as, if you like, just edging it on bookies' favourites. What we've seen so far, the Crows have got the speed, Birchall and Rousseau are getting faster, and Fownes and Walmsley have got just a bit of work to do.
Ellis is on a
Yeah, Todd Ellis, that's really impressive.
good step up.
It is on for day two, Mark. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. They're well on their way there with lap times like that. If it does go through and they can get that through to the grandstand, they're well on their way. Fownes and Walmsley have stopped. So that's over at the Waterworks. So Fownes and Walmsley's lap has come to an end, so we're not going to see what they're able to post. You can see it's getting, the clouds are coming in at the mountain here.
It's a bit dark, isn't it? Which is what Mike Russell said.
So to the bungalow, let's track this one and see how they fare. They were 15 minutes and 34 seconds to the bungalow on this second lap. On lap one, they were 15:50. So it's 16 seconds the difference. But still on course for around about a 117, something around that. Let's see.
15, Greg Lambert, I think. You're not going to miss that, are you?
It's Yeah, that is bright. You're going to spot that nicely over the top of the mountain as they head up now to Parliament Square.
Tear-off comes off from the passenger.
Reeves and Wilkes went back out after a couple of adjustments to suspension, and they found a bit of speed on the Sulby speed trap. They've gone up into third in that department, 150.4.
Probably searching for the best setup with the new tires.
Yeah, you can just see how bumpy it is. It's bumpy on a solo, but on a sidecar outfit with about 45 millimetres of suspension travel all around, that's nothing. It's got to be a nightmare. 16, Wayne Lockett and Matthew Roston.
This is Ben Birchall then, and Kevin Rousseau.
He's got his head down now, good lad. Look at how bumpy it is.
Rattle your teeth out.
Yep. Backside and toes hanging off the back of the platform. Just
Vintage action coming up for Pete Hickman.
That's a 39 BMW 500cc supercharged. That's a supercharger and the pipework associated with it bolted on the front. Lots of power for the day. Very, very fast bike. Not brilliant in terms of suspension. Good today, but no suspension at the back. That is fast. And it's also really, really I saw it running around Goodwood, and it's that is a weapon. And priceless.
They've gone through Crognamona, Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau, and this is set to be, without doubt, their fastest lap.
I think he's pushing on a bit here because it was wide a little bit there as well.
Oh, he's pushing on a bit.
Yeah.
He said he's going to just ask bigger and bigger questions of Kev Rousseau. And if on day 2 they're able to get somewhere near a 118, they will be delighted with that. We're going to keep our eye on the standings, of course. It's all very tight, twisty in the final sector here, through the trees and up towards Governor's Dip. Ryan and Callum Crowe from a standing start posted a 118.814. That was their fastest ever time around the island. This is the fastest that Kev Rousseau has ever been around the island, in the capable hands of 14-time TT winner Ben Birchall. Over the line then for Ben.
Hey.
And it's a 118.271.
Nice.
And they will be over the moon.
They will be.
With that.
Honestly.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
On day 2. And you've got to say that based on the evidence of what we've seen just so far, okay, it's only 2 days, Ryan and Callum Crowe do look, at the moment, good, but Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau, you know, another day or 2...
Don't bet against them.
No way.
It is on.
It is on in Sidecar's TT 2024.
So cool. I'd like to see their reaction now.
Yeah.
What Ben feels.
That's if they can rip Kev's hands off after that brilliant lap. That's absolutely excellent. So another rookie pairing there. It's Robert Dawson and Matthew Sims out there on their classic motorcycles Honda.
24 is Alan Thomas and Jody James from the Iverson Honda outfit.
Where's Pennacoit?
East Wales.
Ah,
Yeah, nice place. You can mountain bike there. Not to it. Well, anyway, it's Wales.
So the clouds come in then at the end of day 3, and we've got red flag out here in this in this qualifying session in sidecars. So red flag is out. So let's put a stop to this one, but there's so much to talk about.
That just sets it up nicely.
Yeah,
And
it really
you know that Ben's got more left as long as Kevin Rousseau can come with him.
Yeah, well, across the board, guys, when you think about today, there's so many talking points. There's work to do, you think, in solos for maybe the likes of Peter Hickman, Michael Dunlop.
Definitely some.
Yeah, for Dean Harrison as well. But Davey Todd's going to be chipper.
Very impressed with Davey.
Yeah, it's really his day, isn't it? Again.
Yes, I believe so.
In the Super Twins, it seems like that's about the only class at the moment maybe Peter Hickman is content with. So that's what we can analyse anyway from day 2. So Up in the commentary box then, finally we got some action underway after missing out on a day yesterday, and as we say, really fascinating stuff that we've seen from the solos, and particularly from the sidecars. Lots to talk about there.
We're all into the sidecars now, we're sidecar fans.
Do you know what? The thing is, so often that we've come here in the past where Ben and Tom...
It's been a foregone.
It was a bit closer last year, but this is...
It's home.
This is
really home for a lot of reasons.
And it's such a cool thing to see the Birchells coming from behind, and they're steady, showing their professionalism. They're sticking with it, and they're slowly getting the gap closer and closer.
We should just point out that, and obviously we've got qualifying still to come here tomorrow night on the island, qualifying on Friday as well. Before we go racing, it is set to be a dry forecast, but the wind is going to be up tomorrow. That's what we're hearing.
Absolutely. It'll be really quite windy, up to 40 kilometres an hour. That's about, about 26 or 7 miles an hour. That's quite strong, depending where it's coming from, but dry. It's going to be dry now for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, and the competition for Davy Todd's going to be, maybe a little bit worried tonight, because when you start getting these little wins, you start getting this momentum, and that's what racing and confidence is all about. It could just really snowball into something where he could be unbeatable if, for example, if he wins the first race and maybe the second or the first Superbike race, it's going to be tricky to get him off of that.
He's such a confident, driven man.
In terms of, before we pass back down to Matt, just quickly on the runners and riders and the big three, if you like. Michael Dunlop, we know, has done a lot of back-to-backing Super Sport and Superbike. I guess we're not really going to know how he's feeling until we hear some reaction. But Dean Harrison perhaps will be the more worried of those riders.
Yep, not a good run at all. A breakdown and getting lift back on the back of a punter, basically. That'll now be a superstar. But yeah, he's really on the back foot. He needs
2 days in a row.
Yeah, needs some laps.
Sure.
Yeah.
And chipping away, there are some other riders that are ever present. We saw Dom Herbertson on Monday night. Jamie Coward's had a really strong day today as well, which is great. And again, James Hillier was up there. So there's a lot to throw in.
Yeah, there is. Across the board, across every single class. Really impressed with Jamie Coward.
Such a deep field, there's a lot of races going on in there, even for top 6 now. It's there's going to be massive battles going on that we may not be able to see every single lap of, but the fact that there's so many good guys in this group now, they're all coming on.
Lots to digest, lots to dissect for you guys as well from the commentary box from Hollywood and Huddersfield. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, James. Yeah, a bit more Huddersfield in the studio as well. A bit of Melbourne, Australia, and Mansfield as well, of course. Yeah, loads to dissect there from all of the solo classes and the sidecars. But first of all, we need to talk about Kevin. Tom, you must be super impressed with the lap time that him and Ben put in.
Mate, I'm genuinely buzzing for him. That is a brilliant, brilliant lap time. What did they do? 114, 115, 16, and now 118.2 in their 4 laps together. That is impressive, and they've done it in a nice way. We saw on that last lap, it was just running wide a bit and pushing the limits, but they're getting up there. You can see from the VT here, just bike looks perfect on the road, and they're just in unison now. They're talking to each other without any intercom or anything like that. They're just feeling each other out, and they're really working as a solid team now. It's gonna get exciting. This is.
They did run wide in a couple of places. Was that just because they were pushing that little bit more tonight?
I would say so. They're entering stuff a lot faster than they've done before. So the setup's going to change a little bit now, isn't it? And the dynamic's got to change a little bit. So it'll just progress and evolve into something else. I suppose what they've got to do now is probably set off tomorrow night and push for a good standing start lap time, like we saw the Crows do this evening.
Well, we saw a good standing start lap time from the Crow brothers, didn't we? A 1:18.814, and they were happy with that. I mean, and as interesting as the lap times are, so was the reaction. Cam.
Yeah, it was. We were all sort of saying back here together, like, you don't want to show too much emotion in practice. It's usually you come in, someone tells you you've done a PB, and you might go, "Oh, is that all?" And it's just, I love seeing those young lads. They wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they were just showing that emotion, which is beautiful to see. I mean, at the end of the day, the top 2 teams tonight did personal bests. So
incredible, yeah.
Have a look at that up on the mountain there.
Just draft and pass against farms up there. You can see that bike is really dialed in and it's flying. And there were no "let's keep us powder dry tonight, shall we, brother?" They went at it, and you could see how happy they were, and that's great.
unbridled joy.
We have to make mention of the games being played there. Now, that's the second night of practice and the second time we've seen those two pairings, which have come in as the favourites, essentially, literally playing games with each other out on course. Like, it's a 37-mile course yet. They've managed to find each other twice now. And I think then, obviously, Founds and Wamsley look back and realised they had the Crows tailing them, and you don't want to give that away, but then for the Crows to be able to pass and then do a PB.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, the fans thought, right, we'll carry on. They've nipped in, pulled in the pit lane, and then Pete and Jevon, they've had a breakdown or they've stopped somewhere, so you know which team will be absolutely peaking tonight, and the other guys will be a bit dejected.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? We knew there was going to be a needle between those guys, but now Birchall and Russo in the mix as well in the sidecars. Let's have a look at the superbikes then, because it was an interesting session. We saw, we knew that Davey was quick on the Supersport bike on Monday night. He was quick on the Stocker and fastest on the Superbike tonight.
Yeah, really impressive. Once again, you know, he's the man on the man moving at the moment. You know, on that roll, positive momentum. Just happy every time he's on the bike. Happy every time we see him off the bike in the pits there. So he's the one they'll be chasing at the moment. But interesting there, just looking down, seeing Sean Anderson, P7 on the Team Suzuki bike, Team Suzuki Classic Racing. It's that's a fantastic effort, and Sean's a rider that has been coming on and on. Set a PB last year, so that's good.
Yeah, David just rolling on him on confidence now, Tom. It seems every bike he goes out on, although he didn't look 100% happy when he came back in. But
no, that must have been the Supersport bike. Maybe they've made a change or something, but the Superstock and the Superbike, absolutely on the money. You know, to go fastest on the two big bikes, you wouldn't have thought that. You'd have thought Dunlop or Hickman had took one of them off him, but no, the lad's on fire.
And he did that lap time on lap 1 as well. You know, straight out of the box. Once again, no siding lap, straight out there. First lap round for the evening. Different conditions. I mean, you can see there just that level of commitment as he's coming up there through the bungalow. Look, almost touching the elbow. Quite incredible.
He's got style as well. I mean, he's such a huge fan favourite because, he's a dude, first of all, basically, right? But he's got such great style on the bike.
Yeah, he just, you know, when somebody's so happy and just flowing with it, you get in that flow state, and that's what he's doing. He just puts his helmet on and sets off and loves riding the motorbikes, and it just comes through in lap time, doesn't it? He was backing it into the hairpin up at Ramsey there, and it was just like bringing a bit of short circuit style to it now.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And he was doing the business on the Stocker as well tonight, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Like we said earlier, that is his in and out bread and butter bike. You know, he ups on that, and the boys have got it absolutely dialed in for him. They made it sort of this perfect package that he really wanted to ride.
It's the only rider there in Superstock to eclipse that 1:30 mark tonight was Davey. So once again, looking strong, but another BMW right behind him with Pete Hickman.
Noticeable there was Dean Harrison, P4. Difficult start to the night. You know, he was stuck out at Ramsey and had to find his way back, borrowed a motorbike to even get back. But throws his leg over that Superstock Honda and managed to slot into 4th place, 129 mile an hour lap. You know, he was so strong at the Northwest 200. He obviously loves the bike.
Yeah, he'll sleep a bit better tonight, won't he? I mean, he only just got that lap in right at the end, but he'll settle him down a little bit tonight, I'd have thought.
Well, we must make mention the quiet achiever, Connor Cummins, slipping in there 3rd. We haven't seen much of Connor so far. Always say watch out for Connor, you know, he does it when it counts. He certainly knows his way around. He had a lot of bad luck last year, so with a bit of good luck this year, he could very easily slip in amongst those top 3 or 4 that everyone's talking about.
Supersports was really interesting tonight. Obviously, Davey went quickest on the Stocker and on the Superbike. He actually went slower tonight on the Supersport bike than he did on Monday, and just opened the door for Michael Dunlop, who has decided, it seems, to go with the Yamaha now, with the R6, and straight away looked at home on it.
Well, yeah, we saw the pictures of him, you know, doing the big jump at Crosby there, and just absolutely on the money. He's behind the screen, buried in, and it looks like that's the bike that he's going to want to roll to the start and finish line. Jamie Coward, brilliant showing there. Yeah, he had trouble on Monday night. They got the wrong gearing on, and I think the tyre choice was wrong, but we were just clocking him a bit with the sectors, and it was matching Dunlop towards the end of the lap there, so brilliant showing from him.
Yeah, good start to the week as well from Paul Jordan on the Super Sport bike, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with the Jackson Racing team, and they're a very experienced team around here, and he's really clicking well with that. Once again, I think he had the wrong setup on Monday night, as we see some footage there. Wow. So Michael's first lap out on the Yamaha, coming up over Crosby Leap, and it certainly was a leap. But yet he didn't even roll, didn't even flinch, kept his chin flat on the tank, and that throttle wide open, which is what we know Michael Dunlop's good at doing when things get squirrely. That was really impressive. Just goes to show how hard he is pushing.
Yeah, and how comfortable he is on that bike as well.
It's that same old thing that we've talked about before. If you've got some, that old pair of slippers that you have, and you just throw them back on, you're comfy, you're happy. And he knows what he needs to feel like on a bike, because he did the first ever 130 mile an hour lap on one of them bikes last year. So maybe that's the way he's going to go. Maybe the Triumph just didn't suit his corner speed style, or the way he has to really rev the bike.
He went out late on the Super Twin bike. He's had some issues. Well, he had some issues with it on Monday night. Cam, we don't know exactly where he might have lost a bit of speed. Somewhere he might have rolled off. We don't know exactly yet. But he wasn't quite on the pipe as you might expect. And
I think with the breakdown that they had on the pattern is the night, maybe it's a new engine, so maybe he did have to do some running in. We'll have to look a bit closer to it. But look, who's at the top of the tower there, Jamie Coward. Another brilliant lap on a fantastic bike, turned out by the vast engineering team.
Fantastic to see in that Super Twin class. Look at the mix of manufacturers we got there. We got Coward on the Patton, Pete on the Yamaha, Mike Brown on the Aprilia. It's a real mix there at the top. It's so close between those riders.
I know you were impressed as well, Cam, weren't you, with Joe Yeardsley and Pierre-Yves Bian as well.
Two riders we don't hear as much of, but Bian last year, second in the Super Twin, TT. He's really good in this class, and he was fourth in 22. So it's a rider that's progressing all the time. And the same with young Joe Yeardsley. Manxman won the Manx last year as a newcomer, and almost matched his Super Twin PB tonight. So as a young rider that's had so few laps around this TT course, really exciting to see riders like that moving through.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Tom, to see established riders still setting the bar here, but some real talent now starting to get close to them across all the classes, including the sidecars.
Yeah, we're not seeing what we thought we might see with the big trio. Big trio, across the board. It's absolutely mixed up. And what we've seen in the sidecars as well tonight, there's a lot of stuff to juggle, and we're going to be in for a brilliant race week, I'm sure we are.
Yeah. All right, we're looking forward to it already, but we've still got more to come from qualifying. We'll be back tomorrow evening at the same time. We'll be live here from 6:15 local time for the fourth session of the week, or the scheduled fourth session of the week. That gets underway at 6:30. Like I said, we'll be on air from 15:15. We'll also have more from the Super Sports and Super Twins. Can't wait to see that story continue to unfold. Likewise, the sidecars, ding ding, seconds out, round 3 for those boys and girls from 8:10. Further qualifying session, of course, the final qualifying session on Friday afternoon from 1 PM local time for the sidecars. They're out first, followed by the Super Sports.